the top 250 people playing this game are the ones that you really need to care about because they're grinding this game, and a lot of them are either professional players or big streamers. So you need to retain those players. Any hackers enter that threshold, they need to be dealt with immediately. If they don't, big streamers, they're going to carry their audience. Some people say that your audience won't follow you from game to game. That's true to an extent, but most of your viewers will follow you to a different game because they're watching you for you, not the game necessarily all the time.
It's obviously not noticeable enough for Activision to be losing any sizable amount of sales on this, but I wonder how many people will watch their favorite content creator playing a game, and then based off of their impression of the game, that'll make their decision whether they want to buy the game or not. Because if you're someone who wants to play competitive, and then you go and watch Havoc or you watch Nadeshot play ranked, and what they talk about over and over again is how it's just ruined with hackers. If I was someone who was on the fence about buying the game, I wouldn't buy it. I'd be like, okay, well, I listen to this guy, screw it. I'm not going to do it. So yeah, those top 250 people, they then become even more important because they'll have thousands of people who are watching them. Welcome everybody to episode number 201 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike.
I'm Justin.
Justin, how we doing?
Doing all right.
Hell yeah, bro.
We were yapping for like a half an hour before about my solar panel
Well,
story.
I was going to say, it all started with your solar panel story, bro.
Yeah, man. I got a free consultation tomorrow after I told the guy no 4 times.
Which this is the problem with some people who are salespeople.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't know when to take no for an answer.
Yeah. No means no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. In all situations, no means
in all
no.
situations. Yeah.
You know,
and I won't go off on it too much, but basically, like, guy came to the door selling solar panels. I was walking down the stairs to take my dog out, and he saw me. I was like, shit. Like, I can't just go up and like hide, because normally I just don't answer the door and they leave. But he saw me and he waved to me, so opened the door, talked to him. I let him get out what he needed, and I said, I'm not interested. That was my mistake. I should have said, I'm not interested, and slammed the door in his face.
right.
Because that's what my neighbor did, and it worked. But I gave him a chance because I don't like how most people treat salespeople, because like it's just rude in my opinion. And then, I told him I'm not interested. He gave it the, okay, let me give you one more point. Let him finish. I said, I'm not interested. Then he went on again, and he was like, oh, we have a free consultation. We'll just measure everything, blah, blah, blah. Like, not interested. Then he talks to his boss. He's like, hey, I'm here with Justin. And now I'm just pissed. And he's like, oh, we're going to schedule an appointment for you at 5 o'clock tomorrow. I'm like, dude, I'm going to say no. So basically he said all that. He also said that, oh, you look really young. Let me explain to you what solar panels are and electricity. And he's 24. I am 26. I am 2 years older than you. And right. I also know the difference between solar panels and electricity.
So listen to me, you moron.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a meeting tomorrow that I don't want to be at.
Yeah, dude, that is absolutely insane. This guy finessed a meeting and a consultation for you.
Yeah.
Like you said, dude, that's the thing you just gotta do now in the future is just shut that down immediately. You gotta be a total prick.
Yeah. No, lesson learned. I'm not interested. Shut the door.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, and even in situations like that, like, I get it if he's trying to be persistent a little bit, but there's gotta be a point, like, where even if you're in sales, there's gotta be a point where you maybe realize, okay, there's no chance this guy is gonna be a sale. Like, I can just tell from the body language, et cetera, that this isn't gonna happen. So let me just smoothly end things. But no, homie keeps going. But he did get that consultation, but now you're over here
I'm wasting
talking shit with him and being like, dude, now I definitely would never ever get solar panels, especially with this guy.
Yeah. If any of you guys are sales reps, like, let me know if do you guys push? Are you persistent about it? I get being persistent, but if the person says no after the second time, and like you said, body language, my hands were in my pocket dude. My hands were in my
Right.
pocket. I had one AirPod in,
Oh, yeah.
and I had my coat
Jesus.
on. Like I'm ready to leave,
Right, right.
and he just kept going. Half an hour.
And the big
Half an
thing
hour.
too, bro, no business card either.
I
That's
know.
a
I
major L, bro.
th that's usually my go-to. I'm like, "Hey, I'm not interested right now, but if you can leave me, like, your information, business card or anything,
Yeah.
I'll take a look in the future." He said, "I don't do business cards. That's not my thing, because he's young." What?
Dude, that's just being, like, unprofessional. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying, you know? Like,
yeah,
I think that's ridiculous, you know?
yeah. So, that's what happened, like, right before we started recording. So, I was worked up.
Yeah,
Still
yeah,
worked
yeah.
up. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be really worked up around this time. Guy's gonna come, and I'm just gonna be like, "Nah, I don't want this."
Right, right. I don't wanna be dealing with it. You're gonna have some guy wandering around the house or around outside the house at 6 o'clock at night,
Dude, I
you
should
know?
walk around with my AirPods in with the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
I was like,
That's what I
"Yeah,
would do.
nope."
Yeah. Just again, just waste his time, like, to the nth degree. Don't
Yeah.
e yeah. Just, make absolutely sure if homie doesn't get the message after this, then he's got problems. He's gotta go
Yeah,
into another field,
yeah. Well, the
you
guy
know?
was like, "I don't wanna waste your time if, the numbers don't work out."
Right,
Well, if I said no, I don't care.
right.
It
You're
means
like, "Dude,
no.
trust me, the numbers don't work right now, bro."
Yeah,
You're like, I'm not interested at the time."
yeah. He was like, "Oh, it's free. It's 0% down." I'm like, "Dude,
Yeah,
shut up.
yeah,
Stop."
right? The trip. But yeah, dude, your week's already off to a bad start with this guy, so screw that. That's terrible,
Yeah,
you
it's on
know?
a Monday, and I'm starting off
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. Like I got at the time we're recording, this is my last week until vacation. I got I was telling you before we started too, I got my one class to finish up tonight. So I'm gonna be doing that. And then yeah, it's just gonna be chilling for the holidays. I can't wait. The kids
Mhm,
have lost their minds. And I'm like, unlike some of these teachers, I see some of these people. Like, no, I shouldn't talk bad on them, but it's like there's people who are already starting like we're not doing anything,
mhm.
and I'm like, bro, it's Monday.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like I think there's a grace period where for me, it's like, look, we got work to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, we're gonna pump it down a little bit. Friday, I'm like, okay, you're gonna turn in or show me what you got, and then we're chilling. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But there's people who are already just kind of saying screw it on Monday. I'm like, dude, that's chaos. Saying
Yeah,
screw it on a Monday, and then you're gonna do the same thing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. No thanks. Like
yeah,
that's
complete
more stressful for me,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, when you guys are listening to this, it's gonna be, Christmas week already, so,
Yeah.
yeah, like, Christmas will be this week. Um, Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and we talked about it too, happy holidays because
Yeah,
I
right.
got
Yeah, not Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but we also too are coming off of, another blessed week of, or weekend rather of double XP,
Mhm,
um, which I took full advantage of this. I
mhm,
know unfortunately you had a really, really busy
mhm,
weekend, so you didn't get to play. Um, I I played a bit on Saturday, for like an hour, and then
mhm.
yesterday I went to the gym at like 8 in the morning, got home, and I was like, "Okay, the day's done. Like, there's
Mhm.
nothing else to do today." So I literally played all day. So I'm 4th prestige 46 or
Oh, there you
47.
go. Mhm.
Hustled through this. And I'm trying to get through this prestige too because of all the prestige emblems, this is like one of my least
The
favorites. That
ugliest one.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Nuketown
yep, yeah,
I don't like that bomb one, and then the other one too, which I'm not really too excited about, is the 6 Prestige. It's that guy from Transit, you know?
yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
robot.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not really excited about that one.
mhm.
I think those, like, in my opinion, those are the 2 ugliest of the Prestige emblems, so I just
Mhm.
wanna get through them so I don't have to look at them for very long and just be like, "Okay, we're all set."
Yeah.
Um, 5th Prestige is really nice, though. That's like the, what is it? The skull with the Black Ops 2, like, there's the 2 behind it.
Yeah, the Black Ops 2 logo.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then 8th, ninth, and 10th, I think or no, 7th, 8th, ninth, and 10th are really cool.
Mhm.
I like those, but, um, yeah, it was quite boring. I mean, I played a lot of Hacienda. I just, going through all the guns. Like I've been using a lot more of the what was it, that sub I remember talking about, that compact.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the last subs that you get. Um, that thing is insane.
Mhm.
Like, I never used it until, like, just, what, 2 days ago? And I got it, like, max level because of all the double XP. That thing is so good. It's like the
Mhm.
MP5 on steroids. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
if you've ever used it or, like, got it, really high level, but thank God that thing's, like, not used in ranked because
Yeah.
it's a
It's
joke.
good. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, I haven't used it all that much yet, but I'd imagine once you put, like, all the attachments you need on it, it's pretty good. Because I feel like most of the weapons in this game are relatively good, like, in
yeah.
comparison to each other, so, just once you get all the attachments on them, they're usable.
Yeah, and I've set the goal for myself, like, I am gonna try to get the, submachine guns diamond.
Mhm.
Like, that's definitely something that I wanna do because I looked through them all and I have them all max level now.
Mhm.
So I'm like, "Oh, man, I should actually do that." Like, the
Mhm.
ARs, there's a lot of those ARs I'm probably never gonna use, so it's like, screw it.
Mhm.
But, like, the Tonto is a sub I never use anymore, but I have, like, 76 headshots with it, and I'm like, "Oh, that's actually, like, really close." Like, I could
Mhm.
do that, you know? Um so that'll be my goal for myself at some point, but I don't know. I'll probably get that done, like, in the master prestige realm. Like
Yeah, that's my goal too. Well, not necessarily a goal, I'll say, actually. It's just more of when I load into pubs, I'll get bored of using the jackal and the aims, so I'll just use other weapons
right.
and, like, slowly work my way up. But
Yeah.
but then when we switch over to ranked, like, obviously just using the jackal and the aims the whole time.
Yeah. Which our ranked score is still sitting we're still on that
We're
5
we're
streak,
still
bro.
undefeated, dude. Still undefeated.
Yeah, we haven't, gotten a chance to play yet since that amazing night, so it's still there. Um, which, I swear to God, if we pick it up, like, or when we go back to ranked and we get,
Still winning.
like well, I hope so. I'm like, "Dude, if we go on and we immediately get, like, horked on, I'm gonna be so pissed." I'm be like, "Bro, we just wasted
Nah,
all this time."
I think, we just gotta play, like, right after we watch the CDL. It just gives you an
Yeah.
instant boost.
Yeah, no, I think so too. It's definitely like the biggest buffet you could have as you watch all those guys. And I've been learning a lot. Like I'm sure you have too, having
Mhm,
watched the CDL this past weekend, which we'll end the episode talking about all that. Um, it helps so much because some of these maps, I still am not really sure how to play them. But when I watch
mhm,
their breakoffs and how they play it, that's where I'm just taking all these mental notes like, oh wow, like I don't watch that, or
mhm,
am not really thinking of X play that could happen,
mhm,
which will definitely matter as we cut our way through the plat and into the diamond realm. That stuff's gonna
mhm.
be important.
Yeah. We still might fly through plat, though. I have a feeling we're gonna fly through plat
Oh,
because
yeah.
I don't know, I just remember, yeah, the night that we were playing, it was very easy, I will say.
Yeah.
And
I
imagine through plat, it's still easy for us.
yeah, I think the SR will slow down,
Mhm.
like, once we get to plat 3. Like,
Yeah.
plat 3 into diamond 1, that's where the SR starts to go to, like if we're doing really well, we're earning, like, 70 SR a game, you
Mhm,
know? Like, now it's, like, giving you 160, 180, like, it's still trying to just get you out of there relatively quickly. Um, but, yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna cruise through it. I will tell you, man, I really think, like, I was thinking about what we were talking about last episode with, like, hitting your peak.
mhm,
Bro, there were times yesterday when I was playing, I just felt so good. Like,
mhm,
I really think we talked about it when this first, came out, about like, "Oh, we're not there yet." Like, bro, I think I'm getting there. Like, I
mhm,
really think that when I'm putting in this time, I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Like, I'm
mhm.
cooking on this game now. Um, I
That's,
don't I don't feel like a complete moron on this game anymore.
yeah, um, that's the thing. The more you play, the faster you'll get to that peak,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, like if you don't play all the time, it's still there. You're not gonna reach that full potential.
Right.
Where like I know I'm not, but uh, I felt like it when I was playing ranked. It's like you're just not missing, but you just play
Yeah.
for a couple hours. But that's the thing. Like when you put so many hours into a game and you're just flowing through the entire map. Like there's this like flow state you hit as every COD player if you're playing so much where everything just makes sense. Uh and that's what you want to hit.
Yeah, and dude, I had like a white monster on the side, like the eyes were just glazed over. I was like,
Mhm.
dude, I was moving on Nuketown or just like finessing people so hard. I was like, oh my god, dude. I
Mhm.
was like, I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing right now, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but partly too, it's probably because that sometimes I was using the aims and dude, have you used that thing since they went and did this whole patch with it?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Dude,
no recoil.
okay. What do you think about this? Do you like this or no?
I mean, I was fine with it before. Now I just feel like it's even easier to use. Like I think before it was easy to use. Now it requires no skill. But people
Which
still
I
miss
hate.
with it. Well, yeah, I hate it too. Um which for like I don't understand how they did that with the aims, but the jackal got nerfed because
Makes no sense.
like yeah, it doesn't make sense. Um yeah, I don't know. I feel like ARs just in general are way more blessed. Like
Totally.
lately, they've been blessed since
Yeah.
like 2019.
I mean, dude, and that gun, like we said before, it was good back, prior to this patch. But
Mhm.
now this thing, like I saw people were saying it's got them thinking like they're shooting was it like prime formal? Like they
Yeah.
put a
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, 100% because I remember I used that gun and it's just like that. It
Yeah.
just does not move. And I'm like, "Oh my god." It's like how
Mhm.
could they let this happen? Um, but it does suck because I like using that gun, but now when I use it, I feel dirty, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Mhm.
dude, people are gonna be like, "Oh, dude, he's using the aims." Like, of course he's going,
Mhm.
like 42 and 9. He's using this gun like that thing's a joke.
Mhm.
And I hate that now that gun for me, it's having that connotation attached to it
Mhm.
where it's just like a total fugaze gun. It's like the XM4, you know? It's like,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, dude, you can
Uh,
eliminate anything with that."
What's funny is that that always happens towards like the middle of the game. People are like, "Oh, you're using the aims. Oh, you're using the jackal, like the best weapons in the game." Where I think a lot of casuals say it when they're not the best weapon in the game. Like I think people forget they're the best weapon in the game to a lot of people because the pros use it. But the pros use it because they ban and GA a lot of other weapons that are actually way better.
Right.
Uh, like a good example is um, the XM4 from Cold War. That was the best AR in the game, not the Krieg.
Yeah, no doubt.
And people were like, "Oh, okay, you're just using the Krieg. You think you're really good?" Like, no, if you want to fry XM4, you don't even need a sub. XM4
Right.
did it all.
Yeah, if you wanted to just full on pub stomp, that was the gun to use. And it's
Mhm.
still that case with this game. Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen the XM4 as much. Or maybe I'm just not like paying as much attention to it, but that's definitely that gun where it's just so broken, it's so
Mhm.
strong and easy to use that like I never use it. Like that whole I looked at it because I guess you could break it down. Well, I guess you can. Like for guns that you use through the prestiges. In
Mhm.
third prestige, I never used that gun once,
Mhm.
you know, because I just I have it as like a default class, when you get the custom classes. But like for this one, I just went, I was like, okay, let me go and replace that with the Krig
Mhm.
or the aims.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm because I know I'm not going to use it. It just feels like even dirtier than using the aims now, you
It
know?
is. It is. But I
Yeah.
think I don't think a lot of people are using the XM4 because the CDL's grown more, I think, and they just see people using the aims and people are just gravitating towards that because of the no recoil. But the XM4 is definitely way better.
Oh
There's a
yeah.
reason why it's banned. Like
Yeah.
if they couldn't ban anything, pros would be using the XM4.
Right. If you've got a good shot, that's like that's the best gun, no doubt. You
Hmm.
know. But again, yeah, after this patch, I just don't know what they were thinking with it. I hope they can like revert this somehow.
Hmm.
Um, because it cheapens that gun for me so much. Like now, I just find myself using the Krig a lot more. Um, because I feel like if I use the aims too much, then I'm gonna get delusional about my shot,
Hmm.
and then it's just gonna get worse. You know.
Yeah.
Like I need to constantly be testing myself. I'm like, dude, I got to use a worse gun, which we've said before. If you use a worse gun in the game, it definitely makes you a better player. You
Hmm.
know, if you're using like a trash sub or AR, when you go and use a better AR, that will make you so much better of a player.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. Everything flows better when you have
yeah,
the best weapons in your hand after using like some really, really bad weapon.
right. But yeah, your point about in ranked how they're using the aims pretty much all the time, and they're or using is it the aim? Yeah, the aims,
Yeah.
and using the oh, I'm blanking
Jackal.
on the name. Yeah, the jackal. Thank you. Like using those two guns, they just kind of set the trend for what everybody else wants to use.
Hmm.
Because in ranked, like even now, like I don't see anybody using any other gun. Thank God.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, I saw this when we were before we were starting. This came out just a couple hours ago, which was really, I guess it was like nice to hear. Um, but I'm curious what you think about it. So, Call of Duty, the Ricochet anti cheat team, they came out and apologized for how season one launched because we talked about that in prior episodes, and all the big streamers were complaining about this, and rightfully so. How the game has just been, you know, packed with hackers. Um, but they said that they're trying to, I guess, they're going to go and make some changes, and hopefully like going into season 2, they're going to actually hit the mark that they wanted to for banning cheaters because they said, let's say, quote, however, we did not hit the mark for the integration of Ricochet anti-cheat for the launch of season 1, particularly for ranked play. Um, and then they gave an update about, we've banned, I don't know, tens of thousands of hackers in this time.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know. Statements like this, like, what do you think about them when they put these out?
I mean, well, for one, they didn't state what their mark is. I'd like to know what their mark is. And the other thing, yeah, obviously they didn't hit their mark in season one. Like everyone knew that. I'm glad they addressed it, but also the timing of this, they're addressing it right before the holidays when all these guys and girls, like they're people are going on vacation. It's the holidays, they're taking some time off. Um, so and same with the players too. Like a lot of people are probably not going to be playing because of vacation or whatever, and they'll be playing like after the holidays. So it's like the perfect time to announce something like this and apologizing, but also cool you addressed it, but fix it. Like just do something about it.
Yeah, I agree. I see this stuff because they've put out quite a few of these statements over the years throughout, various titles. And when they say they ban these hackers, I never get people um responding to it being like, "Oh yeah, you can definitely feel it." Like now, like going into these games, I just feel and notice that there's way less people that are hacking.
Mhm,
It's very rare that I see that. It's usually people just saying, "Where are these people that they're banning?"
mhm,
Because I sure as hell are not coming across these people because my lobbies are still ruined with them.
mhm,
Um, and thankfully for us, we're not dealing with this as of now. Um, but yeah, this has just been a problem for years and years, and I don't really know how good of an anti-cheat this is, uh, in general. It just seems like I don't know. It seems like they're banning these people, but then it's not really doing anything because they still come back, like we've
mhm.
talked about many times before, and it's like, what's the real goal with this? Like, a number that they're trying to hit. If they said they banned, 10, 20,000 people and they didn't hit the mark, what is the mark?
Yeah,
50,000, you
exactly.
know? like how many hackers actually are there in ranked play? You know, of
Mhm.
the hundreds of thousands or millions of people that play in ranked, like what percentage of them are actually hacking?
Yeah, and that the thing that you said about, the like, we're not feeling the hackers and, like, other players, like, are wondering where these hackers are. Uh, I mean, it's just because we're not at that rank. Like, most people will not feel hackers that are playing ranked, you know? Most players are not up in the crim, iridescent, and top 250 realm. And if you're in, you know, those ranks, then you're gonna expect to be hacked on, most likely. And that's where they need to focus, their attention on. They need to get rid of like all the hackers within the top 250, especially like right away, and then just work their way down. But the problem is like, yeah, they banned the 10K or 20K, whatever. Like you said, it's a win, but uh more are just gonna pop up, and like they're always gonna pop up. So that's why it's hard because they should celebrate that win, but they need to the market should just be all banner or all cheaters should be banned completely
Right.
all the time. That should be the mark.
Right. Yeah, that should be the mark, and, like, I don't think they'll ever hit that.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think so either.
so are there people that are ever gonna be satisfied with this? Like, probably not, you
Mhm,
know? There's always gonna be those people that are like, "Well, dude, I'm still feeling it." Like, I still am loading into these constant lobbies, but
mhm,
I know now from seeing these people, like, that are in the top 250, like, I see, Nade talking about it and, the guys in OpTic, where it's just egregious. Like, it's every
mhm.
game, it's pretty much every session that you're playing in ranked, you're gonna be dealing with it. Um and it's like, dude, if I'm gonna lose, like, I'd rather lose to someone who's like 16 and has
Mhm.
nothing to do with their life other than just play COD. And I'm like, okay, fair play. You're better than me. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude,
Well,
you've got the skill on me.
this is the thing that if anything, they should prioritize, like, I don't know how long it takes for them to ban people, but, like, let's just say the top 1,000. Like, the top 250 is the most important, even though they're probably thinking, "We gotta attack this from, like, a broader, stance," because top 250 is only 250 people out of the millions, playing this game. But the top 250 people playing this game are the ones that you really need to care about because they're grinding this game, and a lot of them are either professional players or big streamers that are trying to like break into that. So you need to retain those players, and then yeah, prioritize like within whatever the top 1,000, top 10,000, and if any hackers enter that threshold, they need to be dealt with immediately. Uh, that stinks for the iridescents and like crim players and so on, but they're just I think they should prioritize those top players first because
Right.
if they don't, um, big streamers, they're gonna carry their audience. But yeah, some people say that, oh, your audience won't follow you from game to game. That's true to an extent, but if you're a big streamer or like I don't know in the CDL or something, most of your viewers will follow you to like a different game because they're watching you for you, not the game necessarily all the time.
Yeah, and we've seen examples of that for sure. Like I remember Nick Merckx was like that.
Mhm.
Like he was pretty much always at the time he was just like only Warzone, and then he went to what was it, Apex? I think he's.
Uh, he
I
was
thought
he
he like
went to he did Apex and Fortnite.
yeah, just like totally jump ship. And my thing too with this, it's obviously not noticeable enough for them to be them being Activision to be losing any sizable amount of money or sales on this. But I wonder how many people will watch their favorite content creator playing a game and then based off of their impression of the game, that'll make their decision whether they want to buy the game or not.
Mhm,
Because if you're someone who wants to play competitive and then you go and watch, like I said, Havoc or you watch Nate Shot play ranked and what they talk about over and over again is how it's just ruined with hackers. If I was someone who was on the fence about buying the game and wanted that, I wouldn't buy it. I'd be
yeah,
like, okay, well,
mhm,
I listened to this guy. screw it. Like, I'm not gonna
Mhm,
do it. So yeah, those top 250 people, I mean, they then become even more important because they'll have thousands of people who are watching them
mhm.
who may be playing the game and then change their mind being like, "You know what? I'm not gonna play it tonight. I wanna keep my sanity." Or
Yeah,
people who are like, "Oh, what about the new Black Ops 6? Let me go watch Nate Shot." And he's like, losing his mind over it. They're like, "You know what? Second thought, I ain't gonna buy it."
mhm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the viewers will follow their favorite creators, and if you're not prioritizing those top players, and I mean, they're putting their time into these games, so you should get the cheaters out of there as fast as possible. Like,
Right.
there should not be any cheater in the top 250. Like, bare minimum, there should be
Yeah.
0 cheaters.
Yeah,
All
no
the top
doubt.
250 should be legit people, and they're probably all gonna be, like, CDL pros or former pros, you know, and we should be able to go and see all of that. Like, if
Yeah.
we're going in there and we don't know the names of the top 25, there's a problem.
Yeah,
'Cause we
seriously.
we don't like, we don't even follow amateurs, but if you're in the top 25 in the world, we're gonna know you. Or, like,
Right.
we're gonna know of you at least.
Yeah, and then it also too, like, it's good when you get these guys, like, and I keep mentioning him because I saw a clip this morning, which is we'll talk about is funny with Nate Shot. Like, I don't know if he has people who are hackers above him, but I'm sure to get to the road where he's at, he had to leapfrog a lot of those people,
Mhm,
who shouldn't even be there in the first place. So it gives validity to these guys like him who are a former pro who's like, in his 30s and people think he's washed.
mhm,
Um, and it's like, no, dude, he's on there. I think he said he's like, I want to be on that top 10. Like, I want to be like the first page on rank. That's the goal. Like, right when you
mhm,
go and see the leaderboard for the top people there, he wants his name there, you know,
mhm.
because people are always saying that he got carried when he was a
Yeah,
pro and he's not that good. And he's like, dude, what? Like,
yeah,
he's like, people got to start putting some respect on my name. And even people now, they still don't like think that highly of him. I'm like, bro,
mhm.
are you crazy?
Yeah,
Like, it
I
doesn't matter that he's, like, long retired or anything. He, like bro, we're younger than him. Dude, he would absolutely dismantle us.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
uh, like,
mhm.
people just don't get it.
There are levels to this gaming stuff.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if they're gonna reset all of our rankings, like, every season again. Like,
that's what I wanted
I
to.
I'm assuming they are. That's, it makes sense when season 2 launches, but, if they don't, like, that'd be so interesting to see if well, how are they gonna keep it fresh, you know what I mean? The whole point of, like, the seasons when you, start off in bronze again, like, you have a reason to grind up again, you know? But, I don't know. Because if they didn't reset, right, the people that are, like, top 5, like Parasite, he's been, like, grinding in Havoc, they would have, like, 100,000 SR by like season 4 and no one will ever be able to catch up to them if like you just
Right.
started, and you're actually trying to attempt that.
Right, which I guess that's kind of the point of the reset.
Yeah,
It's like, 'cause there's some of those guys who can just do it all the
it's
time,
their
and then
job.
also right, right,
Yeah.
that's exactly, the guys who are on Twitch streaming all the time, like, they have, say, nothing else to do, that is their whole goal, is to just
Mhm,
play the game constantly. So it would suck if there's some guy who wants to go and set that as a goal for himself to get to the top 250, it's like, well, dude, it's literally impossible, like, you're
mhm.
just not gonna be able to do it. And the other thing too, didn't they get rid of the levels? Like you can't be like, like we're plat 1, right? But it doesn't say next to it level 9 or
Oh, yeah,
level
yeah. Mhm.
yeah. I'm glad they got rid of that whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of stupid.
Mhm.
Like having
Yeah.
level 50 or whatever. It's like, dude, who really cares?
Yeah. Now now, I'm trying to picture what it is in my head. Um, yeah, now it's just the, like, what tier you're in, but you can tell if someone's hard stuck in the tier because like, you and I were I was a silver 1 and you were like gold 1 and we're getting put into plat lobbies. I'm like, "Oh, okay. You're hard
You're
stuck, huh?"
yeah, you're terrible, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I get that in pubs. I see these guys who are like, I'm playing and I'm again 4th prestige and I'm getting put in way more now with master prestiges and I'm
Mhm,
like, "Oh, you're awful."
mhm,
Like, there's no way you should be in a lobby with me. Like, I'm getting good at this game, but I'm not that good. Like, dude,
mhm.
you're master prestige level like 140. Like, dude, you should decimate me at this
Yeah,
game with the amount of
that
time you put into it. But
that should
I'm
be your
like, brother,
final form.
right, exactly. But I'm over here finishing ahead of you in the leaderboards and you're actually trying. I'm like, dude, get real. You're dog
Mhm.
water at this game. Like, you see these guys, yeah, same thing. We're gonna come into them where they're like, diamond two. I'm like, dude, we're getting matched up against you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, bro, how
You need some
long have
help.
you been? Yeah, how long have you been here, bro?
Mhm. That's
Well,
always the worst when you're hard. Luckily, when we've gotten hard stuck, it's, within, like, the high diamonds and early crims.
yeah.
Man, it would suck to be hard stuck in silver or
Well,
gold.
and then the other thing too that sucks is like you see, like we'll go into these games and then we're like, oh, dude, we've got these guys who are, you know, like they're all on our team and they're, plat three. We're like, okay, man, we're good. Like, thank God, maybe. And then we go and we play with them and they're fucking terrible. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, it's like, you kidding me? I'm like, dude, you sold me a bill of lies. Like, I thought you
Mhm,
would have been solid, At least you can play a little bit.
mhm.
But then they're just, they're total frauds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it can be deceiving to see
No.
the tiers at times. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's terrible.
yeah. Because when I see someone higher than me, I'm like, "Okay, sweet, we got this locked in. Carry me. Please carry me." And then there are no fundamentals at all from that person.
Yeah. And I don't know when we're gonna hit that. It's probably gonna
Yeah.
be
It's
when
gonna
we're
be in the
all
diamonds.
diamond
Yeah.
into the crims, where I see these guys who are relatively solid.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Like, they know
I,
rotations, they know that they have to rotate and play the objective and, like, watch your cuts and stuff. Yeah, like, right
right,
now we're playing you can be a high plat, and this person doesn't know that they need to rotate,
right,
like,
right.
or, like, watch certain lanes, when you play the game enough, "Oh, someone's probably, like, in this corner," or, like, it's a very typical corner to play. It's like on Skyline when you're rotating to the bathroom. I think that's P4. 1, 2,
No,
that's P3.
that's is it? Well, P1's pool, then
1,
P2's
2,
top, then
3.
P3 is kitchen or bar,
Oh,
whatever. Then
yeah, yeah.
yeah, then
Oh,
P4,
P4. So
right?
it was P4. Okay.
Yeah. Are there four
Yeah,
hills there? Is that it?
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. Um, I was right. Okay. I was
I'm still
counting.
bro, I'm like sometimes like I don't mean to interrupt, but like I'm sometimes still on like P5, P6 mode from like other CODs,
Yeah.
you know? It still
Yeah.
trips me out. I'm like, dude, it's only 4 rotations. Yeah, it's easier to
Yeah.
remember, but
But like that P4, if you're rotating to that P4, anybody that watches competitive COD or just plays ranked a lot, you would expect someone to be like outside of the hill, like way in the back, like where the tables are, like overlooking into the bathroom. Um, and if you kill that person and say someone's on that hill, if you play COD, you'd expect someone to be like in that bathtub or right behind the bathtub. That's just very standard. You always check there, you know. And if you don't check there and you die, it's like, why didn't you check that? You like everyone always checks that area first out of
right.
all the corners.
Yeah, and it's all stuff that we pick up from watching the league. Like
Mhm,
when you watch the league matches, there's so much you learn from it. And same thing to your point, that people that you're playing with, they're good because they're checking those spots. And it's more than likely not even just reps, but it's also that they pay attention to the league. Like
mhm,
they're watching that stuff and they're actually like, okay, on P4 Hill, what are like the standard spots? Like people are playing either behind the bathtub or they're playing in the shower. Oh, okay,
mhm.
got it. So people are just burger walking in there and you're a diamond 2, a diamond 3. It's like, bro, let me go send you the link to the CDL stream. Like,
Yeah,
you need to
and
go and start taking some notes.
it's funny because the good players are the most predictable players. It's just a matter of how like your what your timing is, and then like winning your gunfights because uh you and I have said it all the time. Like if you're a really good player, you'd expect someone to be in that corner or like make the logical play of this is the right play, but then they don't do it
Right.
because they're not thinking about that at all. Um, and then they like kill you or whatever because of that
Yeah.
because they're playing the weirdest way. Because usually halfway through the season, especially towards into the end of the season, everyone plays the same. Like when you're rotating, if you have 10 seconds left on the hill on old, everyone should be already rotated at that point. They should be
Right.
on next. But then you get some weird person that doesn't understand and they're hitting old still for whatever reason. And then they die. And now you're like flipping or whatever, you know?
Right.
Um,
Did you watch the, Miami versus Ultra game
yeah, yeah.
yesterday? Yeah,
Mhm,
that was, like, one of the cases, we're seeing on Toronto Ultra. I wanna say it was Kleenex. It's probably Kleenex or Insight. It was definitely one of them where they were just, like, laying down this was on Skyline, and they had the P2 hill, and they were one of them was laying down right in front of the elevator at the bottom
mhm,
of the steps, and I think it was Scump. He's like, "Dude, that's just a great, like, off angle, like, they
mhm,
just you're never gonna see that coming, like, you're never checking that," you know?
mhm,
That's stuff that when I watch, I'm like, "Damn, I need to do that more," because there's obviously, to your point, all the basic setups, like, you have pretty much a good idea of where they're gonna be in that
mhm,
room, and same thing with when you go to the back steps to go hit that, you're like, "Okay, there's
mhm.
probably somebody playing, like, when you go up the steps to the right, it's probably someone laying down
Yeah, on the
there,"
ledge.
you know.
Yeah.
Right, right,
Mhm,
but somebody laying down at the bottom of the elevator watching the stairs off to, like, side piano
mhm,
is like, no one's checking that. Everyone's just running right around, you
mhm,
know? Um, so those are the plays there where, like, they're
mhm,
the little like, the high IQ moves that can win the games because, like you said, those guys, they all think the same way. Most of them play the game, like, relatively like, they have the similar setups. So when
mhm,
you throw something like that into the mix, people just lose it, you know?
mhm. Yeah, there's I like doing that stuff a lot. Like I'm not gonna say like unpredictable stuff
Yeah,
because like it makes sense, but there have been plenty of times where you've seen me like I'm laying down in the complete open or, like why would you be laying there? And then
right,
it works because like you said, everyone's running towards a hill. No, there's no reason for anybody to be laying down in the middle with no cover or anything.
right,
And then that one kill can like help you out. A good example is if like say there's a doorway and you won rotations and then you just lay in front of the doorway
right,
and before the doors are open and you just lay there, no cover or anything, and someone's running through the doorway and you get that one kill or say like you get traded or whatever, that one kill can just change like the next 10, 15 seconds on that hill.
right. Yeah, you can have huge impact moves like that. Just playing off of like the opposite of what normal tendencies are. Like a big thing this weekend, like with the CDL, team that does this a lot is obviously Breach. Which, by the way, the boys are still firing. This
Yeah.
wasn't a fugaze week one. Like they looked really, really good. I think they go 2-0 this weekend.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
back to
yeah. So
back
they
game fives again.
bro, giving us fucking heart attacks, these guys. They're pissing
The
me
the
off, bro.
the thing is though, now when they go into game fives, I'm like, okay, I'm like really confident they're gonna win this.
Well, and it's so funny too because from last year, that was like
Yeah.
their kryptonite. They like when it went to game 5, we're like, "Oh, it's over. GG's."
Yeah.
Like they're not winning this, you know? Even if they're up 4-0, we're like, "Nope.
Mhm.
They're gonna lose 6 straight right now." And then sure enough, they would. We're like, "Dude." But now like they're just getting the reps on the ice. Like they're
Oh,
killing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Which is really good. But they played yeah, they played Miami, which I thought was a good match, like or a good
Mhm,
matchup for them. And then the big one too was Surge.
mhm,
Um, but what I was talking about before is sometimes in the search and destroy, they just say fuck it and they just run. you
Mhm.
know, which in Surge, like, most of the time, you're not expecting that, of course, you know? You're having everybody play patient and everyone's playing angles and all this stuff,
Mhm.
but they would just be like, "Okay, we're gonna just haul ass up on these people." We'll still play, like, setups where we can maybe play for trades, but they would just bully them, you know?
Mhm.
And, like, the other team would just have, like they're totally caught off guard. I'm like, "Dude, what the fuck?" Like,
Yeah.
they're running up here doing this, like and that's
Just
how they would play
turtle
a
up.
lot of rounds. Yeah. I remember they did that to Surge, actually, no, it wasn't Surge, it was from last time, last week when they played, what is that team? The not Rocker, what's the other one? Gentlemate. I think it's Gentlemates?
Yeah,
Or
LAG.
yeah, LAG, yeah.
LAG mates.
Yeah, LAG, yeah, dude, I can't
Yeah.
ever say that, bro. It's like it's Gentlemates, whatever.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure they were playing them, it was them or Rocker, but regardless, it was in the round 11, um, and they just ran at him, you know?
Mhm.
And I think they lost that match against them. But it's the same thing, like, they kinda live and die by it, like, they'll just go and push up and try to catch them off guard, and it's like, "Okay, round 11, both these
Mhm.
teams are for sure playing scared, and playing, like, really, slow."
Mhm.
And then they just flip that and be like, "You know what? We're just gonna run at these guys because we're gonna bank on the fact that we'll catch them off guard." Um, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, you live or die by
The
by
channel.
that. I mean, it's like if if you do it all together and it works, you made a good play. If you do it all together and it doesn't work, at least you did it together.
Right.
Because if a couple of you aren't on the same page, then it's just a bad play no matter what.
Yeah.
Like especially if it fails, it's a bad play. If it succeeds, it's an alright play. There's just a lot
Right.
of risk involved with it. If all 4 of you are on the same page and say, "Let's just go and do it," and it doesn't work out, at least you tried together, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah, the Boston guys though, they are very, very good at game fives. And just S&D in general, they look very confident, and I think they just mesh so well together. It seems like Snoop has opened up and he feels like comfortable speaking his mind on this team. I know we mentioned it like last episode where it's hard to speak up when you're talking to Slasher or like Priesta, like so personalities just don't mesh sometimes, right? And I think like I wish Slasher was still on this team. Like, no offense. I just like Slasher as a person. But he's succeeding over in Carolina. But Boston's their chemistry is really, really good. And I was actually texting shout out Paul from Helix before they closed down. But I was texting him like, dude, now they win. Now they're winning. This is like the best start they've had to a season. And we're winning game fives like over and over. And they're looking really good. But we have no watch parties. Could you imagine if we had like weekly watch parties at this point?
Oh, bro. I mean, we'd be doing everything we can to go to all of them because it's like before it was pretty much a guarantee that they would lose. So now it's like,
Mhm,
dude, it's pretty much a guarantee they're gonna win, you
mhm.
know? I mean, they still got quite a few challenges ahead of them. Like I think we saw in the rankings, they're what, 4th or 5th, I think, in the standings right now?
I think they're 4th. The Ravens
Yeah,
are 1st because they're
dude, which I mean,
undefeated.
we gotta talk about that, bro. I don't think this was on anybody's bingo card going into this
No.
season that the Ravens would be at the top after
Mhm,
this week 2 for the holiday break. I mean,
mhm.
dude, they look fucking insane. Like they
Yeah,
look
yeah.
so good.
Granted, I will say a lot of it is based off of schedule strength. Like, I don't think they've
That's
played the
fair.
top I don't think they've played the top dogs yet. So, undefeated's still good, you're playing a lot of hard teams, but they haven't played, they're not playing like the Thieves, the FaZe, Optics, whatever. And we'll get into those guys, main FaZe and Optic later on too, because drama, not really drama, just
Well,
news.
so that's the thing too. Like we'll talk about the phase because they did play phase and then they 3-0'd them,
Oh,
which
wait,
was
yeah, they
insane.
did, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing right now is like, what kind of phase do we got this year? Because
Yeah.
phase right now just I don't know what's happened to them. I mean, they just flat out don't really look that good.
Mhm.
People where I saw it on Twitter, everyone's like, "Dude, these numbers that they just put up against Falcons." I'm like, "No disrespect, it's the Falcons." Like, bro, these
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
like, they just punished them,
Mhm.
and I think that was pretty much a series like that. They need obviously they had to win that. Like,
Mhm.
if they didn't win that, they're for sure thinking about like they got to do some changes. Like,
Mhm.
there's no chance you can lose to those guys like that. Um, but they just outslayed them, outplayed them at every step. Um, but yeah, they got 3-0'd by Carolina, and it wasn't close.
Yeah, it wasn't
Like,
close. That was
yeah,
Sunday, right? I think it was Sunday.
uh, that was no, that was Saturday, I think, because
Mhm.
Sunday they went and played. Well, yesterday they played
Oh,
Falcons.
they played Falcons, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
remember watching the Ravens game against them, and yeah, it wasn't close. Like, the hard
the
point
the
wasn't
protocol
close.
hard point
The search
was,
wasn't close.
I mean, bro, they 100-point clubbed them.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was
I
watching
think
Scum stream. He's like, "What the fuck's going on?" I was like, "I don't
yeah.
know."
I think FaZe is just going through, I mean, obviously, they've won 1 game so far before the holidays. They're just going through a rough patch, like, they just don't look comfortable on the map. They don't look like a team on the map either. And even in their comms too, they sound so flat. Like, they don't sound like themselves, and, I'm sure it's because they're having a slow start, but we've seen FaZe, when they played LA Thieves, they're down 2-0, and then they start playing like the FaZe that everybody expects, and they almost reverse swept. So, they're there. It's just how can they become consistent with it? And people are calling for players to be dropped from that team already, where I don't think people realize. In this case, it's slightly different, but okay, if you're going to drop one of those 4 players, who are you going to drop first of all? Because you're dropping a world champion no matter what player you drop. Also, if you drop a player, what player are you going to get at that caliber that's equal value, if not better, than the player you drop? Because you're
Right.
dropping a world champion at that point. And also, you got to think about if you drop Sal, Abizi, or Simp, you're dropping someone from a trio that's had chemistry for years now. Like, they know how each other play, and they know what they're gonna do on the map together. Um,
And they've been successful every year.
yeah, yeah. So I don't think a lot of people think about that. Okay, in this case, people are calling for like another player we'll talk about, but realistically, you know what you get out of those 4 players: Abizi, Simp, Cell, and Draws. You don't know what you get of the other 4th person if you decide to drop one of them. Like, you know what you have right now, and you know what you're gonna lose if you decide to lose one of them. And that I just wouldn't even gamble with if I if I was them, and if
No
I
pun
was
intended.
if I was a general manager. Like, you're telling me you're gonna risk getting rid of Draza or a BZ or Simp or selling him to another team, and you know for sure whenever they play each other again, it's gonna be like a revenge game.
Right. And to that point, those guys are going to go and strengthen any team.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter where they go. They're going to be in high demand, and they're going to make any other team that much better, and probably make them a threat. Um, Yeah, I don't know how much to read into the phase issue right now. Like, I think they're just, you're saying, having like a rough patch. They're just not playing well. Usually, I saw Parasite talk about it on the flank, which was a good point. That usually they're the guys to, be starting way out ahead,
Mhm.
and be like one of the best teams. And they're just not those guys this year. They're
Mhm.
having a slow start. Like, traditionally, OpTic is that team where at the beginning of the year, everyone's calling for their heads, being like, dude, these guys don't care anymore. They've lost it. And then they win, a world championship. I mean, that literally was them last year. Like, people were, they did awful at one of the majors. Then you know,
Mhm.
they pulled it together and won champs. Um, I think they're in that boat. And I think it's just very weird for us to see FaZe struggling.
Mhm.
Um, because historically, that's just not in their vocab. They never
Yeah.
struggle. You know,
Mhm,
they're always there. Even if they're like in Vanguard year, they're getting second all the time. It's like they're right there.
mhm.
Um, like this year, they're definitely having a slow start. And to the point of Carolina, like Carolina does look great. Like they look like a really, really solid team. Um, and yeah, the phase thing with Thieves, I don't know, people just seem to forget that. Like everyone's, including myself, we're gassing up Thieves, being like they're one of the best teams, which I still think they are.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, you're right. FaZe, was getting slapped. Then they woke up
Mhm,
and they almost like walked it back on him. I'm like, dude, they did that to most people's top team. Like they were right there with them.
mhm.
So yeah, it's in them. Like you said, it's just how do
How
you
to
keep that up,
mhm.
match after match?
Yeah,
Um,
and I'm gonna add too, like, not every team isn't gonna be the best in every game. Like, obviously, there's gonna be the top 3 teams every game,
right.
and it's probably gonna be OpTic, FaZe, LA Thieves, like, right now, but I would say OpTic and FaZe they're always a lock up there. Regardless of the roster, they're up there. Um,
Yep.
and they're not gonna win everything. I mean, like, maybe they will, but odds are they're not because 'cause they're just gonna flip-flop, uh, teams. But I don't know if this is bad or not. This is why I'm not a GM. But if I was a GM and I knew if I could keep Cell, Simp, Abizi, and Draza for the next 4 years, and my average placing is like third, I'm taking that all day.
Right.
Then potentially like risking that and dropping from third to like you're out of top 6 now or something, which again, with their talent, it probably wouldn't happen, but that's taking into account if they're upgrading, not even upgrading, they're taking another player that's like equivalent to a player that they drop. Like that roster, it will always be in the race of winning a champs, no matter what. And I think COD fans are just too quick to judge. I mean, they're always
Yeah.
too quick to judge. Which, speaking of too quick to judge, OpTic. We talked about this last week. I was very wrong about the situation with Fred. I thought, well, let me take a step back. I was right about the personal issues. He's struggling with personal issues, but I thought he was going to be just benched temporarily for Hook. I was wrong. He is now a free agent, which is insane.
Yeah. It's nuts. Again, I could not predict that this would have happened. Um, I texted you this morning. I saw it. He went live, I guess. I don't know,
In Australia.
when he yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, which I don't even know what time it is there right now, but I woke up and it was like people tweeting a couple of hours ago. They're like, "Dude, he's live."
Mhm.
Um, and I was watching Tack Rab's video this morning, which I watched him in forever, but he like was able to see you were able to see a lot of the people that were in there, bro, like Simps in there, Scump, Zuma, like all the top phase people. Everyone's in there being like, bro, what's he gonna say? Like, what's the deal
Mhm.
here? Um, and we're not gonna get into like his whole deal because that's kind of just his business. You can go watch his like the highlights of his stream as to what his whole deal is, because it's not really all that important. What to what we're talking about. What's more important is that he's not on OpTic anymore, and yeah, he's like planning to come back, or he wants to be competing again after Major One. Now I don't know if there's any issues like legally, like if he can or can't because of his whole situation, but saying if he does come back after Major One, bro, I if FaZe was gonna be struggling still, okay, this is my thing. If FaZe is still struggling after Major One, and say they get like 8th through 12th, which would be crazy. I could definitely see a world where they drop one of those players and they make a move on Pred.
Mhm.
I could totally see that.
Well, see,
Because he's
that's
one
the
of those guys that's like, I mean, he's coming off of a champs win. He's
mhm,
an absolute machine.
mhm.
He's kind of like a lateral move, or like almost like a lateral plus
Yeah,
upgrade
yeah.
to someone on
That
phase.
that
But
that's the exception that I was talking about. Like,
yeah,
I if you pick up Pred, you're dropping Simp or Abizi. just based on uh them being subs. Unless I could see a world where they drop draws or Celium because Simp moves to flex. Uh I could see that. And if Simp moves to flex, I can see them dropping draws and then moving Pred into Simp's spot. Which that's an insane no matter what iteration of that FaZe team it would be if Pred gets picked up, it's insane. Um
And
and
one of the 4 best players in the world is now gonna be a free agent that somebody else can
again,
pick up.
yeah. And my prediction from last episode of Hook being an optic, like that's great, but I thought Hook wasn't going to be on optic, the whole season, and I still believe that. I thought it was going to be a temporary thing because Pred was going to come back eventually, but he's a free agent now, and doesn't mean he won't come back and sign with optic, but from history we've seen, once a player's a free agent from like any team, they don't really come back and re-sign with the same team, you know. Um, so that's what I'm speculating right now. And also, if Hook has been frying, like he's like the best challenger player by far, but if Pred does sign with FaZe and they drop a Simp, a BZ, or whoever, uh, Optic has a chance of picking them up and swapping them in for Hook.
Right.
So my like not my hope, but if FaZe does make a move, FaZe is not going to look. My opinion, FaZe is not going to look as good. I think it's going to be a mistake if they change that roster for Pred. But if they do drop anyone that comes to Optic, I hope it's a BC because I think Optic a BZ would be insane. Like no shade on Simp. Simp's like insane, but I don't think a BZ gets enough of his flowers because of the work that he does with Simp. Like those two are arguably the best duo, like in the CDL ever, or maybe even in COD ever. Like these guys are insane. And if Abizi and Shotzi are in the same team, that's insane. I couldn't even imagine.
Bro, there's something about that, like, I sound so like, it's kinda fucked up to say, but I kinda wish that happens. Like,
A shakeup.
just to
Yeah. Yeah.
just yeah, because it would like I told you, dude, it would be historical. Like, it
Mhm.
would be one of those moments where it's like, dude, these 2 guys who have been with each other forever, and, well, the trio, I mean, they've been together for so long, but particularly Simp and Abizi, to see that duo finally split up, like, of course,
Mhm.
they will at some point. I'd be shocked if they never did in their career, but just to think that if they did, I mean, it would be the end of an era. It would
Mhm.
be like, man, that duo has won so much together and so much success, and that's, like, everybody always thinks of them that way. Abizi's the entry guy, and Simp goes in and cleans up.
Mhm.
Um, it would be crazy to think of that as Abizi and Shotzi.
Mm.
It'd be nuts.
Yeah, that's like Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, going to a
Yeah,
different team, and then that leaves a story of what happens if they reunite, like, in the future, if it happened,
right,
like, there's
right.
just so many storylines, but if FaZe does consider picking up Pred, which, again, I don't think they should. I think they have enough talent on that team.
Right.
Um, I hope it's, a Beezy that ends up falling so then he can get picked up by Optic. Or Breach sign him. I'm sorry, but, like, I think, they can upgrade with a BZ. But no,
Yeah,
I
right.
think if someone from FaZe gets dropped, they're going to Optic. If there has to be a team. But could you
Yeah,
imagine if Optic doesn't make a change and then there's like draws a BZ, Simp, or Celium that's a free agent?
yeah, I think it's too hot of a market
Mhm.
to not make a move like that. And of course, being those players, you know, I mean, this is all just like in our fairy tale
Oh
world,
yeah.
but there is a likelihood this could happen. But
Mhm.
if this did happen, those guys, of course, want to go to one of those teams. Like
Mhm.
they don't want to go and take a chance on some like lower level team. Even
Mhm.
a team like Carolina right now that looks amazing. I don't think for them they would want to go there. They
Mhm.
would be like, "Look, I want to go with 100% established team that
Mhm.
is already like at the top and has
Mhm.
been at the top. Um, and yeah, like they want to be with full on world champions.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only other teams that they're going to do that with is really Thieves and OpTic, and
Yeah.
OpTic is really the only one where I could see anybody budging on that. I don't think Nade, after all the money that he put in
Yeah.
from his Twitch time, I don't think he's gonna drop anybody on that team. He needs to see that team through to the end.
Yeah. Well,
Um
and they're winning too, so that's the thing, like,
Exactly,
don't
yeah, so
don't judge
it's
it.
and OpTic, I mean, OpTic is too, like, they've
Yeah.
only lost, I think, 1 match, so
Yeah,
they
to
look
Boston.
good. Yeah,
Our
exactly.
boys. And
Yeah, so
that
they've
was with
only
Fred.
lost 1. Right. Yeah, exactly. So they're in a tough spot as to what they're gonna do, but again, this is all hypothetical, like,
Mhm.
FaZe has not talked about dropping anybody, but this is all if they end up still having a bad, like, Major 1. I think if they do really poorly at Major 1, this does start to become a conversation.
Mhm.
Um but could be wrong. I mean, they
Mhm.
they could just be like, "There's no chance." Like, "We know we're good." Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing that we need to we're having a hard time with the game, but it's not a player issue, you know?
Mhm. I
Which I
yeah.
could I could totally agree with that. It's like, dude, no one on that team is bad.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, I completely agree with that. It's like FaZe is one of those teams where you look at it, and I know there's not a lot of time in the CDL schedule, but you look at that team, you can't make a change. Like,
No,
you can't.
no, you
That
can't.
this team makes sense to just work it out, you know?
Right,
But speculating, if it does change, I couldn't imagine that conversation between Simp and Abizi, like, someone's gotta go. Like, that
right,
conversation sucks, but then what it sucks even more is if, like, this did happen and one of them went to OpTic, right?
right.
Kenny, Dashy, and Shotzi, do you think they see that? They're like, "Yo, we all gotta meet about this."
Oh, no doubt,
Like,
no doubt.
I mean, they're gonna talk about it no matter what, but that conversation must suck and be so awkward too. It's like, "Look, we're dropping you."
Oh, yeah, and
Like,
it's like,
3 against 1.
that's the thing I don't envy about those guys because you gotta make those really hard decisions, and
Mhm.
obviously, like, their coach and everybody has play in it too, and Hex, but, yeah, that's a conversation where it's like, dude, you know, you hope like, if anyone's gonna understand that, you'd hope it'd be Hook,
Yeah,
he'd be
yeah,
like, "Bro, I get it, like,
yeah.
come on,"
It's happened
you know?
multiple times to him,
Right,
so
but it doesn't make it any easier, it's
Oh,
still a
yeah, yeah.
tough thing, it's like,
Mhm,
that he's on the team, they're probably hanging and doing shit together, and they're winning right now together,
mhm.
um, but, yeah, this is in our fairy tale world, man, I mean, there is a part of me, like, there's the sick part of me that I does hope that it all
Yeah.
just crumbles, like, people were hoping Falcons would beat FaZe, which is kinda messed up, but I was like, "Dude," because like, I saw Bose was saying it, he's like, "Dude, maybe I'm like, like a piece of shit, but" he's like, he's like, "I want the storyline, bro." And I'm like, "Yeah,
The
100%."
storylines, yeah, it's all about the
Yeah, like, dude, we
storylines.
all we all want this to just be like, "Bro, where do these guys go now?" Like,
They're
they're
playing with
gods.
people's futures,
Yeah, yeah,
their actual
which is
lives.
crazy.
Yeah,
But
um, but, man, if Optic Abizi happens, uh, I I just wanna hear from the Optic fans. You think he's gonna be a bad move like Optic Kenny? Like,
yeah,
you're
right? Yeah,
a person that dude, everyone booed FaZe, and then Abizi or any one of those players becomes a free agent. People are gonna be like, "Yo, we gotta sign him. We gotta
yeah,
sign him," and then people are gonna say, "I don't know if it's gonna be a good fit
right,
because they're from FaZe." Like, are
right.
you stupid?
Yeah.
Are you kidding
Bro,
me?
Simp gets well, all of them, but Simp gets booed at every match. Bro, he signs to OpTic, everyone's gonna be kissing the ground he walks on.
100%. Yeah,
That's just
like
the name of that's the OpTic juice, that's what it does.
100%, and they're gonna forget about everything that they did to this
Oh,
guy.
yeah, yeah, bro, yeah, exactly. They won't remember any of it. But yeah, man, I think that pretty much sums it up, like, everything we wanted to talk about again, like, all the anti-cheat BS, and then all of our, wannabe drama with the CDL. I mean, again, shout out Breach. The boys are looking great.
Yeah. No drama.
And we've got, yeah, exactly. We've got a long time until they play again. I think they're going to be playing next year sometime. It's like January 17th or something like that is when they're starting up again.
Mhm.
So we'll be talking about that. But yeah, I think that closes it out, man. If you had anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, I mean, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays again.
Happy holidays, Justin.
Yeah, it's gonna be
This is America.
hopefully, hopefully you guys get to enjoy some time with family and friends.
Yep,
Maybe you guys get a
absolutely.
scuff. Who knows?
Yeah, dude. Tis the season.
It
Why
is
not
to
treat yourself?
yeah,
Treat
yeah,
yourself. If you don't have a scuff, go on their site. I think you get like 5% off if you follow somebody on Twitch, so go and do that.
yeah.
Go
Use
link up with
code
a content
Casuals.
creator.
Nah,
Yeah,
we don't have a code, but
right.
scuff,
We will.
scuff.
One day we will.
We have multiple scuffs. We
Yes,
love
exactly.
a
Yeah.
5% off.
I see 2 right now on my site, bro.
Yeah. But if not, use who's a use code attach. Use code
Yeah.
attach.
Love attach.
Yeah. I
Love
would
my
say
attach.
scum,
I
but I'm
love
sure
it.
he's already got a couple scuff controllers for himself.
Yeah. No, 100%. But yeah, I think that does it. So again, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this episode. It's episode 201 of the COD Casuals. Be sure to go to anchor.fm/COD Casuals since we're there on all streaming platforms. And then, of course, going to Instagram and TikTok. If you don't want to watch the full episode, you can go there and check out the shorts. Going to our YouTube as well. Be sure to comment and subscribe because we always appreciate people subbing over there. And then going to X or Twitter. Since that's where we're pretty much talking all the time, and join the COD Casuals community since we're tweeting in there quite a bit. And yeah, 5 stars on Spotify.
5 stars. 2025.
Yes, it's
We're going to the
2025.
moon.
Yeah, we're going exactly. Yeah, 100%, bro. We're gonna be the #1 podcast, 100%.
Mhm.
But all right, again, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this episode number 201 of the COD Casuals podcast. We're your host, Mike,
I'm Justin.
and we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.